We are a theatre group which has been striving for promoting peace and human rights and social justice through theatre for the last 31 years. We believe that theatre is a very important and very effective instrument or platform for peace and reconciliation. Because usually peace is threatened because of prejudice, because of propaganda, because of misunderstandings, distortions, and misperceptions. And these logical or illogical positions held by the people are not easily addressed through normal discourse or through seminars and debates and discussions and polemics. But sometimes you have to bypass your mental blocks and you have to approach the hearts of the other side and take a different route to resolve the blocks. We in Ajoka Theatre have been playing this game of theatre for peace for over 3 decades by promoting the cause of peace and reconciliation and social justice and religious tolerance through plays which are entertaining, which are colorful, which are rooted in the indigenous culture, and which have all the beautiful components of theatre as well as solid and very meaningful substance. Within Pakistan, there are different threats to peace. One obvious threat is social injustice and authoritarianism and dictatorship. Then there is another threat to peace is religious bigotry and extremism, which is somehow embedded in the genesis of Pakistan, as it was created in the name of religion of Islam, and it was carved out of United India on the ground that Muslims are a separate nation from Hindus. So we have to make people realize, firstly, that they are a part of the world. Secondly, that they are a part of this region, which is South Asia or partly Middle East. And thirdly, they within Pakistan, different components, ethnic groups within Pakistan, they have a common goal, they have common destiny. So Balochis, Sindhis, Pakhtuns and Punjabis, they may have their own separate identities, but they are all part of one country and they float or sink together. So this is some of the plays which address the issue of social injustice and class discrimination. Include a play called The Third Knock, in which the inhabitants of a poor locality are threatened with being thrown out of whatever dilapidated accommodation they had, and how they struggle for it, and they adopt a violent route, but they realize that violence against social injustice does not lead to any durable solution. Then there is another play about bonded labor. Again, this play addressed the issue of slave or bonded labor of brick kiln workers in Pakistan, a major issue of human rights violations. The plays on religious intolerance, sectarian violence, they include one of our iconic plays called Watch the Play and Move On, which tells the story of victims of the gross misuse of blasphemy law, the insult to the prophet, which is a law where the culprit is given mandatory death penalty. So we start doing that play in 1992 when the death penalty, mandatory death penalty clause was introduced. We never had any serious problem or disruption or any attack, because we present the play in such a form that we don't provoke our audience. Then on gender issues, we have done a lot of plays, including plays on domestic violence, plays on honor killing like Bari, the acquittal a play which talk about anti-women discriminatory so-called Islamic laws. And secondly, our play Kari, which is about honor killing, which we have performed in areas where honor killing is still prevalent, and we have made people discuss and think about the contradictions and the monstrous ideology behind honor killing. Then one of our major areas where we have, I believe, done quite a groundbreaking work is our relationship and our interaction with our Indian counterparts. As you know, India and Pakistan were one country till 1947. This was resulted because of the exploitation of religion by political leaders from all faiths, especially Hindus and Muslims and Sikhs. And this resulted in not only partition but also huge migration and also killings of fellow human beings and fellow citizens in the name of religion. And this is something which is sort of one of the most darkest spots in the South Asian history. So this is still something which is exploited by political leadership and governments on both sides, and that's why tension between India and Pakistan are still there. There have been 2 wars, or in fact 3 wars, and many warlike situations, and even presently the 2 countries are going through a very tense situation vis-a-vis the border violations and political point scoring and blame game. We have been performing plays for peace between India and Pakistan, and performing them in Pakistan as well as in India, and also in Bangladesh and Nepal, all over South Asia, since like last 26 years. And we have traveled all over India, from the northern tip of Kashmir, Srinagar, to the southernmost tip of Kanyakumari, and from the western border town of Amritsar to the eastern border town of Kolkata. And we have done plays about our common heritage, about our exploitation by our politicians, and about our heroes, and about common ambitions and common interest of both countries and people of both countries. And we have always, without any exception, received tremendous response from our Indian audience. Similarly, we have invited our Indian counterparts to Pakistan, and we used to organize a theatre festival called Panchpani Indo-Pak Theatre Festival. Panchpani means 5 rivers. So this festival was the first occasion when Indian theatre groups were able to come to Pakistan and perform before open audience, not invited audience, and they got response which they never have forgotten. And most recently, we have held a hugely successful Hamsaya Theatre Festival in Delhi, the Indian capital, in the month of September 2015. And this was a 4-day festival and 1-day seminar, which was held when the 2 governments were not speaking to each other, and there were tensions at the border, tensions in the media, tensions created by the political parties. And in spite of that, we got splendid response from our audience, from critics, from theatre groups in India, and from the media. And this was very well covered in the media, and all performances were houseful, and many people had to be turned away, and there were emotional interaction, friendly, loving interaction between the audience and the team, Ajoka team, which had been performing the plays. We, in fact, during this festival, the first thing we did was go to the shrine of Hazrat Nizamuddin, the great saint of Delhi, and our singers, our Qawwali singers, they went there and performed Qawwali, which was enjoyed. Devotional music was enjoyed by the Pakistanis and the Indian attendant who were from all religions, not only just Muslims but from all Indian religions. So this was then followed by our play on Sufi poet Bulle Shah, who is equally revered both on Indian side and on the Pakistani side, and who was a great supporter of religious harmony. Then it was followed by a play called Dara about the Mughal Indian prince of the 18th century, 17th century, who was a Sufi and a poet and an artist, and also a crown prince, and he was defeated and executed by his brother, who was a fundamentalist and quite a Machiavellian character. So this story of Dara and Aurangzeb is a story of the struggle between two interpretations of Islam, and they have been the factors which created that conflict. They are still there, and even today the two interpretations of Islam, one is the lovers of peace and humanity, and the other are bigoted extremists. That is still going on. So this play was again greatly appreciated. When we came back to Pakistan, we shared our success and our popularity and the impact we had on the Indian public opinion. This was something which people could not believe, because they thought that in the present climate, Indians are all sort of becoming more and more anti-Pakistan, which is definitely not the case. Our success in creating more space for peace, even in most difficult circumstances, like the cases of extremism in Pakistan and the cases of anti-Pakistan or anti-India feelings in the two countries. We have achieved a lot. We have won over a lot of friends. We have created a huge impact, not only through our performances, but through the media coverage and through our interaction with the local audience and local theatre activists. So we think that we have achieved a lot, but still the challenges are even greater today. Peace is something which cannot be achieved through piecemeal approach. Theatre has to join in with other performing arts, and artists have to join in with politicians and businessmen and young people and peace activists to create a momentum for peace and force the two governments and the political forces of the two countries to agree on establishing durable peace and then develop and prosper together as a part of the much wider world.